Hi everybody, my name is Meg Keilbach and I'm going to be sharing with you today some of the tips and products that we use for our son Willie, who has Down syndrome, autism, and ADHD. I hope these tips will help you. So I'm sure if you're joining me, you either know a lot about essential oils and autism, or maybe you're brand new to autism. Here are some quick symptoms that, if you suspect your child or maybe even yourself may have autism, that you can just keep an eye out for. For our son, definitely the repetition of words and phrases, definitely reduced sensitivity to pain, definitely difficulty in communication. Will has, he is verbal, but very, very few words. He does, it's monotonous, it's called stimming, and anything he has in his hand, he will shake when he's bored or has, watching his favorite movie too. So let's keep going here. Now, here's some health issues that are associated with autism: inflammatory bowel disease, chronic sleep deprivation, anxiety, ADD or ADHD, depression, seizures, tantrums, aggression, and self-injury. I'm not going to cover all of these, but what I'm going to cover are the things that I feel like are the real root to helping our children. Meaning, if we can help them sleep better, have better digestion, help them focus, that's a lot of the problems that they have. And by trying to change those things in their lives, will make their life better. So first, I think it's really important that we understand emotions and aroma, because so much of autism is emotional, right? Whether internally they have these emotions that they can't share, or externally that they can't express themselves. They don't like the touch, people touching them, or different feelings. And so emotions can really influence the quality of their lives, anybody's life. Even myself, when I wake up and I'm not feeling happy, how can I change that emotion using aroma? So aromas are amazing. And of course, we're talking about pure essential oils. They can help our mood, they can help our sleep, they can help us focus, they can keep us motivated. It's just amazing how they work. So how do they work with our brain? So as you can imagine, right, aroma is inhaled through our nose. It's picked up in the nose in the olfactory receptors, and then it's processed through that. So it really controls the sense of smell. And then the nerve cells and the nerve signals to the brain identify what that smell is and translate it into what our body should be doing, right? So it definitely relies on our memories and our emotions that are stored, and can help us with our response. So for example, this is a really simple example. Growing up, maybe your grandmother was a wonderful baker, and you remember going to her home and smelling chocolate chip cookies and homemade apple pie and just that really wonderful smell. And that emotion that usually came about was happiness, right? A sense of feeling good. And so now when you maybe walk into a bakery, or maybe you smell cinnamon, that you get that same wonderful response of being happy. And so that's how aromas can affect anybody. So imagine what it can do to help our children or people with autism. Focus and motivation, I feel like for our son Will, is one of the biggest kind of issues that we deal with. How do we keep him focused in school? How do we keep him motivated? And so what I like to do is use essential oils. Here are some quick diffuser blends that can really help with focus. So let's say your child has to come home and do some homework. Will comes home and he practices drums, and he has some tasks to do when he comes home. So I like to make sure my house is prepared for that by diffusing one of these. Balance is one of my favorite oils, it's a grounding oil, so it's really good to help take out all those other emotions and just ground somebody. But you also want some things like bergamot and lemon that are uplifting, lavender, which is very calming. So take a screenshot of these and try them at your own home too. Now, here's more for motivation. As you can see, again, there's quite a few citrus oils that are there uplifting, kind of get people moving. Motivate is another one of our favorite blends that we use for Will. I have I took a video of him. This goes back quite a few years, where he came in the kitchen and he knows there's a routine he has to go through every single morning, and he got blocked one morning, and you could just see it. He just was completely glazed over, and I kept asking him to do a certain task, and he just kept looking at me, and I was like, "What's going on?" Well, I grabbed the Motivate roller ball, and I rolled it on his back of his neck. I rolled it on his hands and kind of pushed his hands up near his face so he could smell it. And within 20 seconds, that little boy went from a glazed over look to a big smile and moving on. And it was just wonderful to see him kind of shift gears that way. So again, take another screenshot. These are great ideas for blends for motivation. So we can help not just our children to focus, but anybody, including myself. As you can see, coriander is wonderful. It helps to, it's both relaxing and stimulating. I love peppermint and spearmint. Not only does it help open up the airways, whether or not they're having issues with allergies or just maybe a cough or something, but just keeping those airways open, getting the oxygen to the brain, right? That's important. It invigorates them. And then oils like lemon or lime or another another citrus oils just gives them that jump start to keep moving. The other problem we've seen with Will through the years is poor sleep. A lot of this did stem originally from his constipation, and that was more associated with Down syndrome. But as you can imagine, again, this lack of sleep can affect anybody, right? It affects our focus, our emotions, and how we behave, how we learn. It happens to, affect all of our overall systems. And if you're an adult and you're driving, it can be unsafe if you're sleep deprived. So here's some ideas of how you can help yourself fall asleep. Maintain not just a healthy diet, but I like to say a regular schedule. So I like to make sure we eat by 6 p.m. That way food is digested before we go to sleep. It's a regular schedule, so our body's used to it. You need to create a really good sleeping environment. Turn off the lights, turn off your electronics early in the evening. Obviously, no coffee or tea late in the afternoon or the day. Make sure your bed feels good. We actually just got a new mattress, and I tell you what, it's been night and days for our sleep. Moving every single day, and again, when I talk about moving, I always say just move, just get outside, just walk around. It doesn't have to be, rigorous, but just moving is so important. Using oils obviously is, one of the best ways to do that too. So this list, and again, feel free to take a screenshot. These oils are fantastic for sleep. Yes, you're going to see lavender on there, which is, usually the one that most people associate with it. But think about petitgrain. Now, petitgrain they call the male version of lavender, so it has less of a sweetness as lavender, which some people like. A chamomile, Roman chamomile. Some people drink chamomile tea before they go to sleep to help their bodies slow down. We use a lot of Serenity in our home. It's a blend that includes lavender. Now you'll see bergamot on here, which is a citrus oil, but it's one of the citrus oils that actually helps you relax as well. So great number of oils. And I say, you know what? Play around with your diffuser. See what you like best. See what works for you. Now, diffusing your oils is obviously the easiest way to do it. I encourage people though, take a warm bath or shower, and you can put some oils in the water to help, with the steam, you're going to inhale them. Make a a blend with like lavender or some other oils in a bottle with water and spray it on your bedding. I always, when I'm washing and drying our bedding, I put lavender oil on the wool dryer balls so it's already in the bedding. You can use a heating pad or neck wrap. Obviously, if you've got somebody who can give you a nice little massage, that's fantastic. And there's chamomile tea. Putting a couple drops of not even I'm sorry, 1 drop of chamomile, uh, Roman chamomile essential oil in your tea is wonderful. Yes, essential oils are safe for everyone. We know they've been used for thousands of years, right? The key is to make sure that they're pure essential oils. And we know that they are, doTERRA oils are pure because they're tested so often. You want to avoid, and this is for anybody, you want to avoid your eyes, the skin around the eyes. If you have a cut or if you're healing from a wound, you don't want to put oils in there. Don't put it in your nose or in your ears, but put them on the outside of that. Whenever we have a stuffy nose, I take eucalyptus or the Breathe blend and I just wipe it underneath our nose to help us open up our airways. If you're putting any citrus oil on your body topically, you want to wait at least 12 hours before you go outside because you will get burned for sure. I also encourage people to use carrier oils if you're going to be putting them on topically for a couple of different reasons. First is you only need 1 or 2 drops of doTERRA's pure oil because it's so strong. And so you want to help those 2 drops, right, spread over a larger part of your bodies. And that's what if you use like a teaspoon of the carrier oil will help you do. Spreads over a larger part of your body so you're not wasting your oils. And the carrier oil will also absorb the essential oil into your body more slowly. And finally, you want to learn how to dilute. So here's another good slide for you to take a picture of. So adults, you can see aromatically there's no limit. Internally, 2 to 4 drops, and over a period of time, 12 to 24. Children, and when I say children, I typically think of children 6 years and younger. But you know what? Try it with your child. See how it works for them. Now, there's some adults who have sensitive skin, so you might be a little bit careful about how many drops you put on their skin. Same thing with children. Same thing with maybe much older people too. So learn how to dilute is really important. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is digestive issues. And this, again, really relates to anybody. Our health comes from our digestive system. So if our tummy's not happy, our intestines are not happy, you're not going to be overall healthy. You could have constipation, stomach or abdomen discomfort. Your energy might be really low. Your immunity is going to be very low. It's easy for us to gain weight and just overall health. And of course, going back to the sleep, right? If your tummy doesn't feel good, you're not going to sleep well at night. And so that's why it's really important that, again, everybody should have a healthy digestive system. But you can see how if you set your child or yourself up that if you have autism with a healthy digestive system, that it's going to help with your focus and your sleep and your energy, et cetera, et cetera. So I always like to talk to people about using plant-based vitamins and minerals, probiotics, and enzymes at any age. The PP Assist Junior is specific for children. It's a powder. It has a watermelon taste to it. When Willie was little, he loved this. We would put it in just like 8 ounces of water. It dissolves very nicely. Drinks it as though it was his watermelon juice. The other thing we would give him is the A to Z chewable tablets. These are plant-based. They include essential oils too. Has the same watermelon flavor, and it's just a chewable. It's nice. No sugar, right? We don't want to do that sugar. And finally, for children, the IQ Omegas. And this is the omega-3 supplement that we can give to our children. Wonderful taste. Willie loved it. But we don't want to forget about adults, right? Lifelong vitality. This is doTERRA's actually #1 selling product. It has the vitamins and minerals, that's the VMZ, the cellular complex, which is in the middle, and the omegas, which is on the right-hand side. All plant-based. The omega does have some marine oil in it as well. It includes essential oils too. So this is, again, the basis to our foundation to our health. PB Assist, this is the adult version. Now this includes both a prebiotic in a fiber form and then a probiotic. So the prebiotic is going to get it into your stomach to help your digestive system start to digest the probiotic and getting into the enzymes. Very important. You take one of these every day. Finally is the Terrazine. Now, they don't specifically have enzymes for children, but what I would do with Willie, and this is only if you feel like your child's having some real digestive issues, under the age of 6, I would take the capsule apart and I would sprinkle it on whatever he was eating. There's no taste. He had no idea he was eating it, and it made a world of difference for him. So as adults, you can take the capsule. You take it about 30 minutes, if possibly, before you eat, because you want it in your stomach to start breaking up the food in your stomach to help you digest easier. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into any of these just because there's so much to learn about your digestive system. But I really feel that this is just the foundation to anybody who has any type of disability, is having a strong digestive system. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick class, and I want to celebrate anybody and everybody who has autism, because they're just such wonderful people with so many things to share with all of us in their own unique way. And they're all different, for sure. I see my son being so different from other children with autism, but it's just amazing what they can achieve. And especially when they're healthy, sleeping well, can focus and be motivated. So if you do have questions, just drop them down below, and I will be sure to answer them after the class. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday.